Okay, welcome back to Bounce Around Charleston. We spoke about the causes, we spoke about the symptoms. Now we're going to deal with the treatment. But before we do that, I need to introduce to you my new guests that have joined us. Pastor Frank Snyder.
Thank you, sir.
Of Increasing Faith Christian
Center.
Center.
Absolutely,
All
yes,
right,
sir.
in North Charleston.
North Charleston.
Okay,
That's
well,
right.
thank you for joining us today on Bounce Around Charleston.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, while we were in the break, I want to bring this in. Another situation that couples can notice of a depression, decrease in intimacy.
Correct.
What do you say about that?
Okay, so decreased intimacy, of course, we know that sometimes either men or women have health challenges that impact the ability to be intimate like they formerly were, so they find themselves withdrawing from their partner. And so if you see this happening, you definitely want to address it. You don't want to ignore it because it could be something medical or it could be something psychological.
Okay, so Pastor Frank, share with us your story about depression first.
Okay, well, first of all, let me say that I have not been depressed a day in my life over 25 years. But for myself, I experienced depression early in my life. It was really tough. I mean, it was something really, really tough. And in fact, it was something that I could not overcome just on my own. The first thing I realized was I needed help, you know. And the next thing is, you know, I dealt with, well, I'm young, you know, full of energy, full of all of this excitement. I can't share with anybody I'm depressed because young folks don't supposed to be depressed. Especially at that time I was in leadership as well. So, you know, my pride, I had a lot of things that was working against me or I thought was working against me. And it was a really tough time, a really dark place in my life.
So what caused you to notice that you were depressed?
Well, you know what? Mood swings. And then looking back now, okay, there was a time where I didn't even know I was depressed because I was living that way for so long that I thought that it was the norm of life until fatigue, illnesses, okay, I started being prone to certain illnesses, anger, being alone or lonesome, and giving up. I just felt like I wanted to give up all the time.
So, Cynthia Williams, I noticed here that
Hearing?
one of the ways of treatment is a mental health professional.
Exactly.
What can they help you do?
Right. And so the mental health professional, and one of the things I want to encourage our audience is a lot of people are employed, and through your employer, you have a benefit called the Employee Assistance Program. And through this program, you are able to access a mental health professional on a complimentary basis. A pastor said to me, Ms. Williams, the reason why I refer people to you is because I realize that counseling takes the weight off.
Yes.
And what I try to share with people is you're not supposed to carry this alone.
Okay.
Like you said, Pastor, you felt like, wow, who can I really talk to? Who's going to understand? But you also realized I need some help.
Absolutely.
So the mental health professional is going to give you that assistance and provide you with coping strategies.
That's good.
And coping strategies to deal with the depression, with the loss, with the grief, with the insomnia, with the feelings of isolation, with all of those things that you're dealing with. The mental health professional is going to be able to do that.
That's good.
Because you're not supposed to deal with it alone.
That's correct. Correct.
During the Thanksgiving holidays, you and we all were together.
Yes.
For the Thanksgiving holidays. I paid attention to something you asked me. You asked me, how are you doing? And then you also asked me about how are my brothers doing?
Yes.
Because we just suffered a loss of one of my brothers about a month and a half ago.
Yes.
He was hit by an 18-wheeler and killed instantly. But you wanted to know how were we doing. Was there something that you noticed?
Right. Well, one of the brothers I saw was like I said, the 1,000-mile stare. He was there, but he was looking away. Another brother had a tear rolling down his eyes. And because I know that you are a pastor who always supports other people, I think my European training with the military has taught me to really ask people how they are, but wait till they answer.
Right.
Because a lot of times Europeans say to us, you all say, how are you, but you use it as a greeting.
Right.
I'm learning if I ask you, Pastor, how are you? I'm going to wait until you answer. I'm not just going to say, hi, how are you, and keep it moving. So I wanted to know. I wanted to know because you give so much, but I really wanted to know, and I wanted you to really take a look at how am I really doing in the midst of this, like you said, the traumatic loss.
What about getting involved in physical activity?
Exercise, of course, is an excellent way.
It is.
Walking,
Right.
even if you're not doing aerobics, just walking, getting out, pushing yourself maybe to do something for others during this time, maybe volunteer activities so that you can help somebody else. But it gets those endorphins going.
Okay, Pastor Frank, what helped you come out?
Oh, I'm going to tell you. First of all, my brother, my baby brother at that time, he came to me and he said, hey, listen, let's work out. And, you know, I was battling depression so bad, you know, many years ago. And I'm emphasizing many years ago because I want individuals to know that I came out of that.
Yes.
You see. And, you know, I was battling it so bad that I began to lose weight. You know, I was like 215 pounds and I dropped all the way down to 155 pounds.
Wow.
I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. And my brother willed me, okay? He willed me and we started exercising. We started lifting weights. And then over a period of time, I started to see physical results.
Okay.
And as I began to see physical results, it started to cause me to have inward confidence about myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'd like to add is what I like about your brother is he saw
Yes.
what was going on. And like I tell people, if you see something,
Yes.
say something.
Right.
Don't be afraid to confront. You know,
Exactly.
my husband's experiencing some challenges with his mother. She's experiencing some health challenges. And so I was talking to him about how are you really dealing with this? If you see something, say something.
Right.
You see this person withdrawing.
Yes.
You see them sad. You see them losing weight. You see
Yes.
them reporting that they're sleeping all the time or overeating versus undereating. All of those are signs and symptoms. That differentiation that you see in people, address them. And I like that about your brother. He was like, something's going on with my brother.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm not just going to sit by the sidelines. I'm going to come and confront you.
That's right.
I read something that said we should also set realistic expectations.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I think I'm somebody who loves the holidays, but I also know that sometimes we can have an expectation that everything is going to be absolutely, and I'll use my word, fantabulous.
Good word. Good word.
But the truth of the matter is it's not going to be. We're dealing with people, we're dealing with family issues. And so I think the better thing to do is to bring those expectations down to a realistic level where we say, okay, this is what we're going to plan. Everything may not be perfect.
Right.
And that's okay.
Pastor, what about you?
Well, absolutely. One of the things that I learned in it is reality is so important. But in reality, I learned the principle, and it's how to be optimistic.
That's good.
I learned how to be optimistic. And in fact, what happened was I learned a system in how to communicate. For myself, what was causing me depression was the way I was communicating with myself.
Okay.
So I started changing the way I saw myself, not so much focusing on the circumstance, but focusing in how I was viewing myself in the circumstance. So it caused me to tap into a law of being optimistic. And I tell you, man, it changed my world.
And in addition to being optimistic, I think it's just really important for people to be able to express, this is how I'm feeling,
Yes. Yes.
and without judgment.
But do you think that some people can, when they're inside, they're one way, but when they come outside, they show you another side?
Sure.
Right.
Really being depressed, but not really wanting the public to know.
Wanting the public to know.
So how do you handle that?
I think it has to be those people who really know you, the people, I feel close to you, so that's why when you said, what made you ask me?
Yeah.
Right.
What made you ask me? It's having that relationship where you can say, I'm concerned about you. This is what I'm seeing, like your brother did.
Absolutely.
Reaching out. If you see it, say something.
When we go to church during the holiday, like this past Sunday, our opening hymn was Joy to the World.
Right.
And let me tell you
Yes.
what, it was joyous.
Right.
So what about the people in there that's not experiencing that?
And there are some people, the reality, Pastor,
Reality. Here we go. That's
there
right.
are some people who might be singing Joy to the World, but they're not experiencing that. And that's okay. That is okay. So I think just knowing that, listen, I understand that you're going through, but we're here. We're here to walk alongside you. We're your paraclete.
Right.
We're here to walk alongside you as you walk through this.
As you walk
good.
through this.
As you walk through this, we're here to walk alongside you.
Because it's not easy.
It's not easy. You can't fix it. Even a therapist. I mean, this past year, I've dealt with some people that have really had some tumultuous things happen.
Right.
But I realize as a therapist, to both of you pastors, sometimes your role is you can't fix it, but I can walk alongside you.
I can support you.
I can support you.
Right. Good. That's
Now,
I
I'm glad
can
you
walk
brought that up.
alongside you.
Yeah.
Because as a minister,
Yes, sir.
I'm quite sure in your congregation,
Yes, sir.
you meet some of your congregants
Yes.
who are depressed. How do you deal with it?
You know, I learned from a gentleman, and I don't mind saying his name. His name is Tony Robbins. And going through Tony Robbins' process, one of the things that I realized is how to help individuals have breakthroughs, how to truly show them and teach them how to have a breakthrough moment in their lives. And we walked them through a process at the church. It's a live process, and it's awesome. And in that, we deal with reality. Reality can change if the individual is honest about that reality. And we walk them through a step, we walk them through a process, and it's awesome because at the end of that process, we see that they become truthful to themselves, no longer living in what I like to call a Cinderella world,
Okay.
but accepting the fact that this is what I'm going through. It's not truth, but the fact is this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, and what caused you to get there. And once the individual can locate that, we have a development system where we can unlock that.
And I like that because you're causing people to look within themselves.
Absolutely.
Because it's not what the pastor says about me. What am I saying about my situation?
That's it.
It's not what other people are saying. What am I saying about the situation that I'm going
That's
through?
it.
Becoming realistic.
Becoming realistic, because what you're saying about yourself is actually your truth.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually your truth.
Right.
So tell me, how are you dealing with this? How are you processing what happened?
Right.
Because that's your truth. It might not be fact, but that's your truth.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's good. I like that.
Pastor Snyder, Cynthia Williams, we'll be right back
Okay.
after this break.